So for the major learnings that I have acquired in each course outcomes is in course outcome 1 is happiness according to Aristotle and Niccolo Machiavelli's book about the prince and on how to be a good leader. In course outcome number 2 are the fallacies and biases that are mostly seen or heard in debates or in arguments. And lastly is in course outcome number 3 is the philosophy of religion and the existence of God according to Saint Anselm of Canterbury, Saint Thomas of Aquinas, and Blaise Pascal.
Let's start off with the first course outcome. I've actually learned about the definition of philosophy, its concepts, and its branches. I've learned about different philosophers who've contributed in philosophy and their different fields, and their history, and their works. Learned about in CO2 the theories and fallacies that we use in our everyday conversations with everyone, and it actually can serve as a guide how to argue properly, since it's actually a component. It's relevant to the concept of arguing. In course outcome 3, I've learned about the different perceptions of philosophers on God and their different beliefs and their different explanations, whether to prove whether the existence of God is real or not.
What I've learned in the first course outcome in philosophy are the pre-Socratic philosophers, the Greek Golden Age, and the Modern Age. Now, I've learned about the history of the philosophers themselves and also their works. I've also learned about the branches of philosophy, of which the philosophical ideologies of the philosophers overlap with these branches, or specialize in a specific area. Now, in the second course outcome, I've learned about the use of logic and also the fallacies that come up with it. I've also learned about the truth. What's the difference between truth and fact and the truth? Now, the third course outcome, where I've learned about the existence of God and what are the arguments about whether God even exists or not.
In CO1, I learned that philosophy is a big thing, and I also learned the components of philosophy, how it's made, and how they came up with the idea. In CO2, I learned all the branches of philosophy, and I learned the skills needed in life, which is logical and analytical thinking. And most importantly, I learned about logical fallacies and how important it is in arguments or in life. In CO3, I learned that human soul and spirit is unexplained because the three famous philosophers have different thoughts about it. And in God, I think there is no harm in believing it because of the Blaise Pascal's wager.
So the major learnings that I learned in CO1 is the Plates Argument of the Cave that explores the people who stay in the cave for their entire life with the shadow casting down on them. And one person who tries to get out was shocked by the light. When the when that person got out and see the outside world, even though the person was shocked by the light of the outside world, he still preferred the outside world than live in the cave. And my major learnings that I learned in CO2 is the branch of philosophy. It's one of the branch of philosophy, archaeology. It's one that tackles about values of the person, explores the nature's values, which I study about what is right and wrong, and about what deals with the morality and it's dealing what is the proper course of action of the man, and is means of deciding what's course of action. And lastly, the CO3, the Aristotle theory of the soul and the body, which is the rational soul, sensitive soul, and nutritive and or vegetative, which is the intellectual, emotional, survivability.
For CO1, I have learned different philosophers. Also, I have learned about their contribution to philosophy. And I have a favorite philosopher who is Saint Augustine. With his statement, which is, "My heart will, my heart is restless. My heart is restless until it rests on you." So yeah. So for CO2, I have learned about different types of fallacies. These fallacies can help me to help me in everyday life, like in arguing and proving something. These fallacies will help me to prove my point and support my argument. So yes. And for CO3, last one, I learned about God. I mean, I know God, but it teach me what is God from different perspectives on life. So like Saint Thomas Aquinas, like they have different perspective in defining God. So in CO3, I have more way to see God and what is God.
So, how will I apply these major learnings in life? So, firstly, in Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince, actually has teachings in life for me. Like for example, being approachable, not being too strict to people, and also not being too good, because that will result to, if you're too good, that will result to people taking advantage of your kindness, and if you're too strict, it will also result to people like not liking your attitude, avoiding you, like that. And on Aristotle's 12 virtues of happiness, it actually helps me. One of those are actually what makes me happy. And the fallacies and biases can actually help you in arguments, because it will help you identify the false statements of the people, or the misuses of their statements in arguments, and being biases or having certain biases when it comes to their arguments.
I can apply this learnings in my life. I can actually give an example. According to Aristotle, there are three types of friends: friendship because of fun, second one is strategic acquaintances, third one is true friends. I can with that said, I can actually distinguish who are my true friends. And so I guess I'll give some scenarios regarding the three kinds of friends. So the first one, friendship because of fun. For example, Mayan and me, I would just call her and we would just talk if we were to have fun. For example, go to bar, have some night outs with other friends, Okay, so next one is strategic acquaintances. Again, Mayan, whenever she needs help from her schoolwork, she'll just call me, and whenever if I need help from my schoolworks, I'll just call her. The last one is true friends. So it means that they're always there by your side. They're going to support you no matter what. And
I would apply these major learnings um, by acknowledging the logical fallacies present when making an argument, and also um, differentiating whether it is a fact or an opinion. Now, um, I would definitely apply the virtue of Aristotle. By applying these virtues, it will lead to happiness. Now, not complete happiness, but it kind of gives you discipline. And also, I would learn about the philosophy of Niccolo Machiavelli, where it is better to be feared than to be loved. I would like to apply this because it will give you respect without doing any harm to others that much.
The things I learned can be used in everyday life. For example, like having conversations with friends, family, and classmates. You can detect lies and or little bit of misinformation on the topic.
I will apply this through the decision that I make on understanding on what people act the same way and different from others, which what really makes the people think that what is morally right or wrong from and based on allegory of the day makes me understand the meaning of the Truman Show, which is a movie that I like. That I highly recommend watch it. It's about a person who is being killed from his time, from his birth, the day when he escaped the show. It shows that when a person who is being killed in inside doesn't have a privacy, and even this person.
So I can apply this. So like what I said, I can apply this to fallacies. I can apply this in everyday life by arguing, proving my point to others, and have a better sense of what is right about arguments. Then I can for my spiritual belief also, like the teachings in CO3, I am now more open to other religions. Like I can what do you call it? I have now opened my eyes about their perspective about religions and their beliefs, and what are their beliefs, what are their traditions in their what do you call that, in their religions, such that. So, and also it will teach me right things. The learnings from CO1, CO2, and CO3. It can give me knowledge first of all, and also the values that every philosopher give. I can apply it in daily life. So yeah, that's it.
So the most memorable moment for me is the ones where Sir Christians ask us about philosophical questions in discussions, because it really makes us think, and like it really gives the brain a hard time about thinking the question. And since everyone has different answers, it can actually start a debate where like you'll fight over if whose answers is right, and those moments were actually fun to I answer and listen to.
Memorable moment so far in taking philosophy is actually when I heard about Pascal's wager, I was shocked because that concept was I was thinking that concept, but I was already thinking about that concept when I was in elementary. I think when I was around 8 to 10 years old, I was already thinking about those ideas, and upon hearing it and the discussion, I was shocked that there was already there was a guy who has the same thought, who had the same idea as I did.
The most memorable part in philosophy was definitely in the first course outcome, which tackles about virtue and the philosophy of Niccolo Machiavelli. For me, it is very memorable because I think it would be beneficial to me.
The most memorable moment for me is when I got picked for recitation and I didn't answer most of the questions because I didn't know them.
A memorable moment that I have in the quarter is about the iPad when Sir Christian is self-promoting Mafua and begging for an iPad. He keeps self-promoting and he went to another topic until we got sidetracked. But it was okay because it was almost we almost finished the lesson. The CO2 there, so it's okay.
So memorable moments. I can say our memorable moments in taking up Phil Owen is, I think every meeting is a memorable moment because we do not just discuss like, here's the meaning, then our instructor define like that. It's not like that. So our class is more on application, examples, and fun. In applications, our instructor apply it in modern times, modern problems, so that we can relate and we could understand the lecture better. And the fun in the class is always there. There's no meeting that I did not laugh while our instructor was while our instructor was discussing. It is yes, Philo 1 is boring, but our instructor couldn't make that happen. Couldn't make Philo 1 boring at all. So Philo 1 is a course that we are now taking, and it is fun. So I can confidently say that our every meeting is memorable. So yeah.
So what do I expect in the upcoming quarter? Well, I don't really know what to expect, or I guess I don't have that much expectations, rather than I really hope that it will be easy, despite Sir Christian saying that the next quarter will be very hard because we would really make use of our brains, we will really think about the lessons very hard, and we really need to focus. But I hope that just like the previous quarter, Sir Christian will make it easier for us to understand the topics being discussed, because not only does he make it easy, it makes it fun for us to understand. And that's all. I just hope that it will be very easy for us. And thank you.
for my expectations this quarter, I'm actually expecting just two things. I'm expecting for the lessons to be harder, and I'm expecting for me to enjoy the lessons just how I enjoyed some of the lessons in previous course outcomes.
Now, what I expect for the next quarter, honestly, I would think it would be the same, albeit more complicated and introduce me to different philosophies and concepts.
I expect to gain more knowledge about philosophy and other aspects of it, and to answer my philosophical questions, if not gain a little bit of knowledge about it.
So my expectation in the next quarter is that I expect that they tackle about my favorite philosopher, Diogenes, which he take the cynicism to a whole new level by doing it truly from the being said, and his understanding and criticism from others for their arrogance and civility when it comes to a problem, and they and he heavily criticized them and heavily mocked them when they do stupid things. And his quote that stuck for me is when he when a man who has the most who has the most who is the most content with the least, which is really about that, which I really think that I hope that we can tackle about him in the next quarter.
So for second quarter, I am looking forward into defining our own perspective about philosophy. Because this past quarter, we have talked about the contributions of other philosophers, like their perspective about life, about um, God, about reality. So in second quarter, I am looking forward into defining our own definition of life, reality, God, and any other element. I am looking forward to see our perspective and to share perspectives, share it with our classmates. So yeah, that's it.